Okay. All right. Let's just get settled into a nice, comfortable seated postures with, most of us have our feet on the ground, like because we're in front of a computer. So if they are down, they're about a hip's width apart and shoulders aligned with the hips. And just, imagine your spine is this string of pearls of light that stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So imagine putting some space in between those vertebrae. Be sitting right on top of your sits bones, and shoulders are aligned with the hips, and as best you can, your ears aligned with the shoulders. And again, just try and lengthen. We're trying to get our head not too far forward. And then bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the back of the head, the neck, the jaw, the temples, back of the tongue. And relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And just breathe. Notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And then be aware if there's any sounds in your environment. So just allow those sounds to be there. Trying not to follow with the mind. And then be aware of what thoughts might be arising in the mind. And be happy to see them, trying not to criticize what might be there. And maybe take a step back, put some space in between the thoughts, particularly if they're racing or if you've been triggered maybe by something today. And so just watch them arise, abide, and then just kind of float away. And then bring to mind all the people of your life. So our loved ones, the ones we don't like so much, and our strangers. So we're just on a touching very briefly on this idea of impermanence. They can all change place at any time, these relationships. And they're all the same in their wish to be happy, and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So I think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can create positivity instead. So I think that we're going to do this meditation this evening for the benefit of all these people, and also remembering precious Mummy Max. I heard she's drinking a little bit and ate some ice cream today, that she's maybe a little bit more alert today. So she's taking her time through this process. So we send her as much love and light. Imagine she's here with us. So this purification process, we start with this idea of regret. So regret is it's not the same as guilt. Regret is something that is a little bit more, taking a bit more responsibility. Guilt's a little bit like anger at yourself. Regret is more, you just feel sorry that you did something because it hurt you or it hurt somebody else, or you wasted time or something like that. And that you want to kind of do something about it. So it's more that. So we regret from the depths of our heart anything we've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. And we know from the present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing the Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So here we have our beautiful Vajrasattva, and he's painted on a canvas. So just imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, except instead of canvas and paint, light. And you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. He's made a radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents a union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to end up as suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And there you start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mepi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Jiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So then be delighted with all the harm you've ever done to any sentiment with your body. Imagine it's completely purified and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with this body of yours. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body, all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe. So now feel so happy that your speech is completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with this speech. And that includes yourself. because you'll be hearing every word you say. And also take into consideration everything that you write. So emails, notes to friends, something on a sticky note on a fridge, what you put up on social media. And think, this represents your speech. So make sure it's beneficial. And next is a purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. And it's the same. You walk into a pitch black room, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So normally we think we're switching on a light. But if you think next time you turn the light on in a room that you're actually dispelling darkness rather than turning on a light, I think it's actually quite helpful. Because what we're doing here is, Vajrasattva sends blissful, radiant white light from his heart chakra to your heart chakra. And the minute it hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness, bitterness, grudges, jealousies, anxieties, depression, all of this instantly dispelled. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me sitam shiyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me sitam shiyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me sitam shiyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me sitam shiyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me sitam shiyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, these are just the source of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech. So imagine they're completely purified, they're gone. And now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time you imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even these very, very subtle imprints of negative energy. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum He. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one, is where we make a decision to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So what we've been doing most of this week is looking at this idea of catching what Yangtze Rinpoche calls the scammer, this kind of ego that kind of leads us astray, that is not particularly who we really are. This is not, we're just basically pure, clear stuff. So all these delusions kind of scam us, rob us of our sanity, really. So that's really the first thing to watch for, is when that arises. And then rather than feeling upset when it arises, we just rejoice that we've actually seen it. So maybe you can spend a little bit of time every day looking for this cheater. And then we can also at the same time think about refraining just some small thing, some small habit that we have, even if it's like negative self-talk, something like that. And just think, well, I'll just think about that for maybe 5 minutes in a day. I'll just sit down and watch what's going on in my mind. Or if you find you're getting a bit reactive about something, so notice. And then rather than, sometimes we have a habit to react, respond. It's maybe good to take a step back, put some space between you and the reactivity. Because quite often we're not actually correct in our assumptions. Anyway, so something to think about in this little section here. There's this determination to not harm is what gives us the strength to change. It becomes like a little project for us. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And Lama Yesh used to call that union oneness. So next, our precious Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. And in this way, we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to us may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice this evening to all living beings, and particularly to our precious Mummy Max, who's with us here right now. Someone very kindly has put her on. And hello, Mummy Max. We love you. Lama Zopa Rinpoche loves you. Lama Yeshe loves you. His Holiness loves you. And everybody around you loves and supports you. And much love from me and all of us here in our Vajrasattva group. So thank you so much for coming. And think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. All right, everybody, lots of love. Make a strong wish for His Holiness Dalai Lama to live long and for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation. There's everybody. Oh my goodness, there is everyone. And also for your own teachers to live long. How many people are there? Hi, Jeff. Hi, Nina. Do you have like 10 people there?
Six of us, and the Queen is here too.
Oh,
So
good.
7 together.
I can see.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for joining. It's so lovely to see you all.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Good
you so
night.
much.
Thank you.